Morning everyone. So I'm out in the Peugeot GT 208 electric. This will probably be the only video I do of this car. There's been videos done to death on this one. This is my Onto subscription car. Those that watch the channel know that I currently use Onto subscription. There is a referral code in below, 100 quid off me and you, etc, etc. Use that if you want. So I thought, whilst this is due to go back shortly, because I am getting a different car, not through Onto, I thought I'd do a review, thoughts of the car. I've had it for just over a month, not too long, this one. So I must say that I really like this car. I mean, really like this car. But there's one kind of main flaw for me on this, and we'll get to that. So it's a very typical UK crappy rainy day. We're meant to be coming into spring. Doesn't feel like it just yet, although it's warmer. But like I said, I've had this for a month or so. I've probably done a few hundred miles, etc. on it, not too much. And the first thing that strikes me about this car, especially the colour that I chose, was the design. Now, the original 208s I never had when they first came out back in the day. But design-wise, this is a good-looking car. It's a bit sporty. It's designed really well, outside and in. But inside the car, and now years ago, I had a 2003 Audi TT. Absolutely adored the car. Anyone that knows that car, little sports car, often called a hairdresser's car for some reason. But it was really nice, 1800 little sports car. And when you got in, you got this little low, sporty car, sporty dashboard, smallish windscreen, and it just felt like you're driving a really nice little, not supercar, but like little sports car. And this is the feel I get from this. This is the feel I got when I first got into this car. It's got a great 3D dashboard, which looks straight out of an Iron Man visor, and I'll see if I can get some video of that, because it looks very cool. That's all digital. It's got all the good functions on there, your speed, your range, whether it's in charge or power, etc. Interior of this car is really nice. It's a really nice sort of car to drive. It's comfortable. The seats are lovely. This kind of fake leather type stuff. All the stitching and all the materials are quite nice, to be honest. Some of it's a little bit scratchy, but it shows a good story. I.e., it looks good, even if under the surface maybe the materials aren't as high end. But it's really cool. You've got a touchscreen for majority of the functions, things like heating, radio, etc, etc. And you have got some functional buttons for a bit of the same. So you've got buttons for actual, and that noise, that's a speed camera. It's got speed camera awareness, so it tells you when one's coming up and when it's gone. But it's got buttons for things like front and rear heating, and AC, etc. But then above that, you've got some touch buttons for things like other heating, music, phone, apps, that sort of stuff. So steering wheel's really nice. It's an odd shape. It's kind of octagonal, I think is probably the word it is. But it's really comfortable, all adjustable, really nice. Again, once you get your seat position, it's very nice. What I did find is that when I got in, and it might just be because I'm short, that I had to adjust the steering column down because the steering wheel, actually the top of the steering wheel was covering the display, which obviously isn't great. But once that's done, it was sorted. Interior's got this particular model's got some nice interior night LEDs, so like these green LEDs that go around the inside of the car. They're really nice. I really do like that. It's just an added little touch. The front of the car, plenty of space. Rear of the car, I think there's not really much, I would say, for like if you've got, you know, 3 or 4 adults. I wouldn't recommend this car, but like for us, there's 2 of us, and I set my 7-year-old in a child seat, and that fits fine. However, I think, you know, when she's older and she's out of a child seat, etc., I think it might be a bit of a stretch. Boot space is tiny. I would say on par probably with my original BMW i3. I'll put the size of the boot on the screen below, with seats down and with seats up. It's worth knowing that the seats won't fold all the way down just because of the space, so just bear that in mind. It has got the 70-30 split, so you can fold one seat down and have one up. Always find it ridiculous when car manufacturers don't do that, you know, especially if you've got a kid and you still want to have that extra bit of storage. You need that. But drive-wise, this car is really nice. I mean, it's such a nice little car. It's got eco, normal, and sport mode. Eco, as you can imagine, it like restricts everything back, heating, etc., speed, and all the rest of it. Makes your accelerator a bit more kind of harder to push down, so obviously you get more efficiency. Normal, you know, as it says on the tin, it's pretty much standard driving affair. Acceleration in normal is okay. It's not gonna set, you know, any speed records, but it's a really sort of good feel. Sports mode, however, you kick that in, it has got a bit of speed and it got a bit of torque. But what I will say is that if you're driving and you put it into sports mode, hoping for that instant, as soon as I click the button, I'm gone. Takes a couple of seconds to actually engage it and then get the speed, so just bear that in mind. Again, sports mode will obviously drain the battery quicker because you're using more, you know, more torque, more speed, etc., etc. So, you know, that's obviously you know, that's standard for any car. So in terms of range, so this is the thing I feel that lets this car down. Now obviously we all don't believe, hopefully by now, the WLTP range. You know, I think that for this car was over 200, 220, 230, which obviously, you know, it was never going to be like that. I got this when it was minus 10 degrees in the UK, and I got down to as low as about 90-mile range in this car, and that was driving all kinds of road, motorway, normal roads, local roads, obviously heating on, things like that, which isn't great. When it's now got a little bit warmer, kind of a month later, it's in sort of the 10-11 degrees mark, I'm getting more around the 140-mile range. I would expect in a car like this, if you have WLTP range of over 200, I would expect it at least 170 miles. Maybe you would in like peak summer and stuff like that, but generally I find with EVs, the sweet spot is about 11 to 13 degrees. That's a nice temperature where the battery gets warm enough, and you know, you get decent sort of decent range and stuff. So if you're looking for a long range car, or one that's, you know, you're thinking like 200 miles, this ain't it. If you're looking for a fun, sporty, playful car, you know, and you know, you got home charging, etc., so actually the range isn't that much of an issue. then it's probably a good car for you. It's not a family car, although we have used it for a family car. It's been fun to have it for the time that I've had, so a big thank you to Onto. Good service as always. And bearing in mind this is my own money, it's not a sponsored review, but I am sad to see it go. This will probably go in, I don't know, middle of March, when hopefully my new car arrives. You'll have to wait and see in the channel what that will be. It won't be on Onto, and it'll be on a personal lease, is what I can tell you. But it's going to be very special. But all in all, I really do like this Peugeot. I think, you know, in terms of drivability and a generally nice car, like it. I think it's great. I think it's just lacking in the range department. I think the only other thing I would say is Apple CarPlay is meant to work, and I've maybe got it working for about 5 minutes. You should just be able to connect. It comes up on the list of apps, and it should work. It doesn't. It's a bit hit and miss. It's a bit rubbish, to be honest. The app is okay. It does all your basic functions of you know, preheating, cooling down, charge speeds, etc, etc. So there are the functions that you'd expect. It's just, again, you know, I don't know why car manufacturers aren't employing a decent software person to do this. It needs to be more integrated, and, you know, a lot better than what they currently are. So that's a bit of a shame. And lastly, probably charging speed. So charging speed on this is meant to be 100 kilowatts, which I thought, great, you're at least out that you're going to get 70 or 80, or a decent speed if you like hook it up to something like, you know, Ionity or a fast fast charger. I've tried it 3 different times, all different levels of charge to try and get the most efficiency, and each time I got barely over 50, which is a real shame, because for a lower range car you want a higher speed charge to sort of counterbalance that amount of time that you might want to stop for charging. So that wasn't particularly good, but other than that, great car. Some flaws. Still would recommend it, but with the right use case. I think you need to understand what your use case for this car is before buying it. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. It's a bit of a different one. I will keep you updated with what the next car is. I would say the next video for that will be somewhere towards the end of March, just because I'll probably want to do a few videos, get them in the bag first, and you know, have a look and do a few over a set of weeks for it, and some other stuff. So keep an eye out for the channel for that. Things are changing for the better, and until next time, thanks very much for watching. Thank you for my subscribers, and see you again very soon. Bye bye.